Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Finbom, Sushi Burrito Poke Ramen here on Burbank and Lee, right next to Rouse's. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio.
A little cooler today.
Yeah, it's October 1st.
October 1st. It's a good month, baby.
Yeah, it's the best sports month of the year in October.
September there was a nice little appetizer last week, though, with
We did get a little
baseball, don't you think?
Did get a little break, just a little cooler.
Baseball doing some good things, expanded playoffs, keeping more teams, more relevant games down the stretch. That's hard to do in a 162-game schedule, and the playoffs delivered yesterday, and the unders delivered 3-1. Which the Dodgers going to crash the party. Bombs away.
Shohei.
Bombs away, man. Yeah. But the first game, tying runners at third with nobody out, the bottom of the ninth. The game two, the tying run at the plate, it's hit a high fly ball. It might be, it could be. It's caught at the Ivy in Wrigley Field. Day baseball, never go to a Wrigley Field at night. Sacrilege. Take those lights out.
Yeah.
Come on. If we can get who's my boy that poisoned the trees, we can get him up there to destroy the lights at Wrigley Field.
I don't think he's with us anymore.
Updike?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, there must be a White Sox site Updike.
Yeah. Oh, sure. There's an equivalent somewhere.
And then the how about Yankee Stadium? I mean, bases loaded, tying runs in scoring position with nobody out in the bottom of the ninth. In all three cases, the fly ball to the wall, runner at third, they don't advance. Not 1 inch. How about that?
Well, and then the guy on third base, the chopper back to the mound basically for the Guardians. He gets caught in between.
Jose's got up. He's going on contact.
Yeah,
it was already one out.
Right, after the strikeout.
There's already one out.
Didn't have an opportunity.
No outs, he's not. He's their best player. He's a guy. Yeah. He's a guy that immediately, they said that after, the pitcher, because he was still kind of hyped up there interviewing him post. He's like, I just made sure I got him. He makes things happen.
Sure.
I mean, it's him by himself. Charlie, it's a division winner. First time since the 1987 Twins that a team with a negative run differential, they're 29th in runs. They're 29th in batting average. I mean, they just put the ball in play and they scrap and they cry and that's what they did for their first run again against Schoolville. First and second, high chopper off the plate.
Yeah.
He tips it a little bit, so the guy's, running when he can. And how about Schoolville and Crochet?
Crochet from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. That's Richard Dixon country.
That's right, baby. That's Mahoney's boy.
Same high school.
Shout out to Bob Mahoney down at Mahoney's, man. And he, as Skip would say, he told me, and it was in Hoover one time, you see, when you have dominant pitching, nothing else matters.
He's right. You can't score out those guys, and that's what they bought him for. There was a bidding war when he left.
Yeah,
was leaving Chicago.
So and now, but you and now the managing, how they should be managing now. A lot of debate on Boone pulling Freed, and probably too early. But Schoolville, I'm even listening to the Detroit broadcast team. Well, if this is his last, he finished with a bang. He struck out all three, struck out the side. No, he comes out for another inning. He can't, he struck out 14. Yeah, so Crochet went into the eighth, 2 outs into the eighth, and it went straight to Chapman. Not a 3-out save, but a 4-out save. You don't. No, my closer can't come in before the ninth. No, my pitcher can't go past 100 pitches. No, we're trying to win games now, instead of managing long term here. And I thought that was refreshing as well.
Well, Crochet told Alex Cora before the game. He said, we're going straight from here to closer. So he had confidence that and he's helping, he's helping the manager out.
There's been other pitchers that said they didn't want to get pulled and get pulled.
He said this before the game, so
I understand.
Good for him. He backed it up. He backed it up.
And then Jazz Chisholm acts like a petulant child and turned his back when he's interviewed about not being in the lineup. Well, his replacement only hit the home run and had 2 of the hits for them. So Volpe can't kill Volpe on that one. So good stuff. Good.
It's a good day in baseball, and we're about to get started again here. All right. About an hour ago, Brian Kelly provided some information where Garrett Nussmeier's situation is concerned. This is what the coach had to say about an hour ago.
Yeah, that's misinformation. Those are not based on any facts. They're quite silly, actually, Shay. And I know you have to ask the question. So I'm certainly not throwing you under the bus for asking it because people want to know. But this is misinformation. Early on, he had an ab strain, not a core injury in terms of what a core injury that we deal with. And it's been slow to heal, but as I had mentioned, he's on the backside of that, and he's getting rest this week, and he'll be the Garrett Nussmeier that he needs to be as we get into the very difficult part of our schedule.
So the reason, and Shay asked a question about is there any type of surgery needed or anything like that, and that rumor had been out there, and we tried very hard to steer away from that, both on the show and on the podcast, because we don't know. I can't tell you for sure what's wrong on the inside of Garrett Nussmeier, and I don't know how much he hurts. We go by what they tell us. And Kelly said after the game against Southeastern, or before the game, he's ready to go, and he shouldn't have any ill. He's on the backside of this thing. The torso thing is a little bit vague, but okay, we can work with that. Well, he went out against Southeastern, and he looked pretty good. And then, and I'm talking about as far as throwing the football with some zip on it, with some authority. Not, I don't care about the opponent. I'm talking about his ability to stand in and throw the football 40 or 50 yards down the field. Well, then we saw against Ole Miss, where he clearly was not. Okay, we did the film study again last night. You go and you look at the ball to Xavier Thomas, which was badly underthrown. Thomas makes a play on it. Okay. The play where Chris Hilton is 2 steps behind, minimum 2 steps behind, and a good throw has got him. We're not the only people to see this. Aaron Murray, who does, used to do the thing with T-Bob, but still does a breakdown, was looking at it and said, man, something's not right. Matt Flynn, who played the position, does our morning show. Man, look, he can't. The throw's not there. We did the film study last night. It's not just those 2 throws. There were other throws where he's got guys down the field, and he elects not to throw the football. So, and I appreciate Kelly saying what he did, which was, hey, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. I understand why you have to ask the question. The question has to be asked because Garrett Nussmeier, when he throws the ball on Saturday, does not always look right. Note I said always. That's important because also during this film study, there's a play where he zips a ball to Barry and Brown, and he's between 3 defenders, and this ball's got some steam on it, and it's right in the middle of his chest. Well, that looks like the kind of throw that we've seen from him, in the past. So you have an injury that is not requiring surgery, is requiring, I guess, rest. We're going to get to that clip here in a second. But that my best guess is that this thing flares up on him from time to time, and time to time it calms down. It's the only explanation I have because if he was injured, they would not play him. His father wouldn't allow it. The coach wouldn't allow it. Jack Marucci wouldn't allow it. The rest of the trainers, they wouldn't allow it if he was injured to the point where he needed surgery. So that's off the table. But is he hurting? Yes, that's obvious. So this thing calms down and flares up is the best that I can tell you, because some of these throws look very good and some of them just look absolutely awful. So he's identifying this as an abdomen injury, and this is what the second clip, which is what are you going to do about that here during the off week?
Yeah, our training staff and physicians have treated him with medication, and that's been part of the procedures and protocol. But we knew coming to this bye week that this was going to be the time for us not to be pushing him. This is where he could really, truly be, the best version of himself. So, I think our training staff's done a great job. And again, I think you're going to see the best football as we move forward from Garrett Nussmeier.
So we'll watch, Jimmy. The one thing I'm going to go back to again, we'll never know, is what would he have looked like against Ole Miss if they had sat him against Southeastern.
100%, dude. Absolutely.
And the fact that he threw the ball well in the Southeastern game doesn't erase the fact that he was feeling the ill effects of whatever a week later.
Off, man.
That week,
come on.
How much would it have helped in the game? Because there were throws that were there to be made that he has made in the past that he didn't make on Saturday. So that's where they are. It's rest and medication now.
He basically said that last bite that I think you're going to see the best with this bye week with proper, with treatment and rest.
So why didn't you do this 2 weeks ago?
Why didn't you do this before Ole Miss? I mean, come on, dude. You Tech shut out Southeastern.
Yeah.
That
game was not in jeopardy at all.
And we got a little bit of a look at the backup, and he ain't no stiff.
Right. No, he started 8 games in the SEC last year.
Well,
and a couple of them were.
I'm just
what you saw.
I don't care if he started 40 or 0 or started for Ferris State one game or one JC. What we saw, he's more than capable of hand. If you want to dress him out, put him as your emergency quarterback.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's fine.
Yeah.
If something completely goes sideways, but he ain't throwing. He's getting treated.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss that's a big game.
It's a massive game.
Massive game, man.
And as bad as all that was, you lost by 5 points. One pass makes a difference. And with such
little protection, dude, the one time where he has time to throw and he has a guy open against 8-man coverage, you got to make it.
Yeah.
You can't afford to miss.
There was a lot of that we saw last night. And, we said that before the game. Why don't you sit him? He was kind of contradicting himself with, what he was saying before the Southeastern game.
It's a miss.
Yeah.
It's a miss.
And then kind of talked myself out of it after we watched him play against Southeastern. Well, that looked okay. But at what cost? At what cost the following week? Well, you saw it there. So you briefed. That's the Nussmeier update. Hope that, the rest does him good. The medication does him good. And we'll see what he looks like in a week against South Carolina. We're here, Finbaum, sushi burrito, poke ramen.
Finbaum, sushi burrito, poke ramen, and a little bit of everything. And Charlie, it's kind of a little stop too. You want to grab your poke, sushi burrito on your little grab and go kind of deal on your way. Go see Charlie. You forgot some ice. You need beer, whatever you last. That's what Rouse is full of, those people when y'all doing pregame, I'm sure, huh?
Yes.
Yes, before, headed to campus and get there. Stop by, man, get a great something. Hold you over, not going to weigh you down. You going tailgating, you need your energy. This is perfect little grab and go. Little poke bowl to go, whatever it is, sushi burrito. So it's ideal. So if you walk into Rouse's, we're directly to your left. You're walking out, go to your right. And we are literally next door. Our little patio, a little fence, and there's the Rouse's patio. So right here at the corner of Burbank and Lee. I love it. You've been doing the scallops, huh?
I like the scallops, man.
That's good to get moved by you.
It's like a scallop wrap, and it's absolutely.
Well, it's a sushi burrito,
yeah,
Charlie. Yes,
I call it a wrap, but yes, it's a burrito. Yes, right there on the door, Charlie. Try to read the copy, but yeah, that's what I've been having. It's really, really good.
But we also do our grab and go lunches too, man, and they're really so they got the little segmented boxes, and it's kind of it's just. Some of those boxes can get a little messy. They spill over and things like not going to happen. So if you want to treat your office, or you're a pharmaceutical rep and do things like that, man, the people working in the hospital and things like that, they love something healthy and good, refreshing to eat. So I love the sushi burritos, the F-bomb, crazy tuna. The hookup is outstanding with the spicy tuna, surimi crab, tempura shrimp, cucumber, guacamole, wonton strips, sweet chipotle mayo, and the unagi sauce. That's one of my favorites over here. The poke bowls, the rain bowl, the dragon bowl, sumo bowl has a lot of everything. Sushi rice, tempura shrimp, yellowfin eye tuna, the albacore salmon, spicy tuna, surimi crab, cucumber, avocado, green onions, tempura crunch, fried garlic, roasted sesame, tobika, and the bomb sauce, which has a nice kick to it. So really good stuff over here at Finbomb. Sushi burrito, poke ramen, Burbank and Lee, right next to Rouse's.
Live at Finbomb, live at lunch.
On Live Fast.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Finbomb. Sushi, burrito, poke, ramen on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, the show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. Our on-demand coverage is brought to you by Supreme Rice, helping Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. All of our Supreme Rice grown, milled, and processed in Southwest Louisiana. For more information, go to supremerice.com. Also, our new film study is up. We did drop this last night on the Hanny Cash. You can get that on YouTube. About 40 minutes worth of the breakdown. Richard Dixon and I, the film for LSU and Ole Miss. And there's a couple things that Brian Kelly said besides what he said about Nussmeier. The first one is on Aaron Anderson. He's got a multitude of small injuries, one to his hip, toe, one to his knee, and I was surprised he didn't mention the elbow in there too, because that's what he fell on the high throw. Said if he was playing Saturday, he'd probably go, but he's going to benefit greatly from the week off. Should be ready to go against South Carolina. Also said that during the bye week that Nussmeier would do a lot more in the film room than he would in as far as throwing the ball. Very much said he'll be doing more film study, et cetera. He said that Nussmeier needs some rest, but he also said that he did a very good job in the checks to the run game last week, which, frankly, we didn't see very much of that.
Well, there was no what's it? They're in the same damn thing every time he comes out the huddle.
Well, there's one play in particular that,
minus the first couple drives.
There's one play in particular where LSU is playing a 3rd down and 9 at about the
so there's a lot of those, huh? 3rd and 7 or more.
Yes, the average yards to go were almost 8.
8, yeah.
There's this play where they're 5 wides on 3rd and 9. They're inside the Ole Miss 25-yard line. This is in the second half. And there's no back behind Nussmeier because they're 5 wides. And when I tell you that there were 2 defensive linemen inside the tackles and everybody else was outside, and you had one lineman that was way outside the tackle, and the rest of them were all defensive backs. You got 8 defensive backs.
8 defensive backs.
8 defensive backs against 5 LSU receivers. And when I tell you that there was nobody in that middle, I'm talking about pretty much between the hashes.
But on 3rd and 8,
it's 3rd and 9, right?
They're throwing. They're not running there.
But when it opens up like that, and you've got 2 double teams on the middle, and you've got the entire middle of the.
I understand it's tempting, Charlie, but it's.
Well, what I'm saying is it wasn't.
What is? And I know the fan base shouldn't run it, but he checks into it. What the hell are you doing running on the ball? Because look, in 3rd and 9 is one thing. 3rd and 9, as you're just outside the red zone where the field contracts, it's so tough.
You have to see it.
Could you have gotten 6 or 7 and gone for it on 4th and 1 or 2?
There's not even a back there. Nussmeier would have had to take it himself. It wasn't the only time that we saw where they basically clear out of the midfield. The point I'm making is Ole Miss did not respect your run game at all.
Right. No. At any point, you don't have to tell me that.
The film backs that up. That they are bailing, and there's times where Nussmeier's throwing against. That time it was 5 on 8. There were other times it was 4 on 8.
They didn't respect you running it, and they didn't respect you protection too, because there was no reason to send more than 3.
There were a lot of times where they got pressure with 3. And then there were times where he was well protected, and he either went to the wrong spot or he made a bad throw. It was a rough watch, to be honest with you.
So on the all 22 though, but how many guys did he have open when he had protection? because he got moved off his spot a lot. So
he missed a touchdown to Hilton. He missed at least 2 more. I'm talking about down the field. That there were, and you can see him. These are throws that he makes, and my
so
best.
talking about the guys intended receivers he just missed. Or you're not talking about he didn't see it.
One of them I don't think he saw. The other one he underthrew it, and Thomas got there. Thomas, if he throws the ball to Thomas in the middle of the field, Thomas scores easy. I mean, he's well behind the secondary.
Right.
He's got to come back.
That was early.
That was early.
And they brought 5 on that play.
Yes. They did.
So then that was it. So we ain't bringing 5 again.
Now, he had time to set up. Mubenga gets hit on that play, and he's falling backwards towards Nussmeier's feet because Ole Miss did what Southeastern did with some success, which was they ran a loop stunt. And the offensive line has had a hell of a time passing these things off. So he's getting some pressure, but he's got time to get it away. But if he gets it away in the center of the field, Thomas is going to take it to the house there. There was another one where
that was before it sort of settled down and became really repetitive on what they're bringing and what you're looking at and stuff like that.
And there was the ball to Hilton, which everybody saw. They get the PI on that. And then there was another ball that Thomas breaks wide. Xavier Thomas could have probably had 2 or 3 more catches for another 80, 90 yards in that game on balls. Listen, I don't want to sit here and beat Nussmeier up. I know he's hurting.
There is not a game where a quarterback doesn't miss a receiver. Doesn't see an open receiver.
Right.
Okay, not that. So there's a few of those for all of them. You're talking about. You're concerned about more. He's got protection one a few times. He sees the receiver. And he still misses them.
Yeah,
that's
And the run game was just non-existent. We did a cut up where we ran the same play. They ran the same play twice. And the first time, they completely misidentified the blocking scheme. They misidentified a Mike. And then the second time they run it, they actually get it right, but the blocks are not made. And there's simply nowhere to go. And they're not doing this with anything more than 3, sometimes 4-man fronts, and they're confusing the linemen. There are times where they don't block anybody. There's a lot of lunging. It just looks like a team that is at the very beginning of install, not a team that's 5 weeks deep into the season from an offensive line standpoint. How fast can you get that fixed? Now, on a positive note, and they're a little bit too passive. But on a positive note, Carius Kern is a mean son of a gun. He'll pop you now. There were some times where he made some technique problems, but for a guy who was told he was starting an hour before the game to go out there in his first start, freshman on the road, he hit you now.
Would need some of that.
Yeah, it's a little mean and nasty. So, hey, listen, young man, if you're going to go out and play and give me that kind of effort with that kind of attitude, then hopefully you can fix the technique things that he's a freshman.
No, we'll work on that.
Yeah, right.
Because we need some dog.
So that was positive. Also, some of the individual plays, A.J. Halsey continues to make. He basically saves LSU a touchdown on the punch out.
Right.
And there were 2 or 3 other plays that he made. They're just very instinctive plays. P.J. Woodland on the interception was a really, really physical play that I thought was terrific. And then there were a couple. The first touchdown that Ole Miss scores was on a bust. This was a classic Kiffin design that they didn't.
It's hard. You're gonna miss. That's what he does. He confuses you. And
this one shouldn't have been that hard though, because he puts 3 receivers to one side, and LSU puts 6 defenders to the other side. It's like, whoa, wait, everybody over that way, everybody, and they get up, they get a snap quick, boom, in the flats. And you're outnumbered.
Quick snap, you saying?
Well, after the motion, actually. They went in motion, and as soon as the guy gets over there, LSU doesn't adjust, pop, boom.
Because the 4th down to clinch the game, the odd thing was after the back went out of bounds. Chambliss went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Even McElroy circles him, the big tight end, and they just ran a little stack and got crisscrossed, and somebody didn't
got him wide open, and he knew to go down. The play that they ran,
I know, but the
play they ran in the end zone, he does down inside the 10. LSU doesn't adjust over to the motion to get outnumbered.
My point is that you're going to miss some. Do you
Nobody's
you miss
perfect,
more
sure.
than others as a quarterback. And also, you go on to defend Kiffin. Well, every team they play, they get their secondary a little bit miscues, assignment-wise, and guys bust out. I mean, that's what he – it's a little bit it's more challenging is what I'm saying. Do you have just a pile of them, or do you just have a few of them at critical times?
And there were just a couple of really big busts, okay? The rest of it is just football. I mean, they're going to get their yards.
And, man, I thought the sad part, and we'll see if the offensive line can continue, because no matter what Nussmeier's health is, I mean, if you can't run the ball against a light box that's just daring you to run the ball, or if you can't protect against 3, I mean, you're not winning. You're not winning anything of consequence, okay? But I do think I think this defense, I enjoy watching them play.
No, they're good.
They're good. They run the ball. Now, listen, it's both. You know, you say, well, the runner's got to protect the ball more when he's near the goal line. But Halsey made a play. What's both?
Yeah.
I mean, you're in desperation. But his instincts are really good. Some things don't translate from the Ponderosa to the playing field. His did.
Yeah.
Everybody's report. He makes plays, man. He does. And it's just, they got a lot of play. Have you seen DBs that have such good hands? These guys don't miss interceptions, man. Even the one that was called back, that was
picky.
I mean,
it was a PI, but yeah.
I understand, but it's still a.
No, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be.
How many times you see balls drop right in the guy's hands? You know, all the time. I mean, these guys, they're just 8 third-down stops, 2 turnovers against a Lane Kiffin team. You win in 95% of the time.
That should be enough. And one thing, we'll move on. The idea. Well, Ole Miss put out the blueprint. Yeah,
I do think so defensively.
If everybody else can do what they did on Saturday, then LSU's in deep trouble. If they're
going to see it, Charlie.
Sure. And if
did you see what SLU gave problems? Just the loops,
the loop stunts.
Uh-huh.
The simple little twist stunts. But if everybody else can rush with 3 and get there, God bless. And Kelly said, "Look, we didn't like our plan." Okay, well, go fix it. Go fix it.
Come on, coach. Come on, coach.
We're in agreement. I didn't like your plan either.
And this is his specialty. Mm-hmm. He specializes on the offensive side of the ball. Dude, earn your money.
Go fix it.
Earn your money. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest location right down the street here from Finbaum, right down Burbank at Blue Bonnet. Been serving the people of southern Louisiana for over 50 years. A great team of bankers: Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry. Stop on by and see how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member to FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Finbaum, and
I purchased.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Finbaum. Sushi, burrito, poke, ramen on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we welcome you back here at Finbaum. We're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. If you're in pain, let Dr. Michael Goff and his staff help you out the way they've helped out our family for years. When you got those nagging injuries, old sports injuries, old automobile accidents that have things that are flaring up on you, keeping you from getting a good night's sleep, or maybe they're just keeping you from getting around as well as you'd like, let them help you out, target those problem areas, and get you to feeling better. They've done it for me, my wife, and other members of our family, whether it's just a program that will loosen things up through exercise and stretching, or if you get into a dry needle, electric nerve stimulation, cryo, ultrasound therapy, or any of the other techniques they use, they will get you feeling better. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla, Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers.
All right, Charlie. Randy McKay went 4-0 on the show, and so he's down at a private island in parts of unknown.
Can we get a cell signal to him?
Nice job, Randy, huh? Mm-hmm. Finish it off with Miami on Monday night. So started off with early in London at Pittsburgh and finished it off there. So a 4-0 week for our buddy Randy McKay. Don't forget, on Football Sunday, he does send me any late additions that he has. So we've run one of his highlighted plays on the Cappers Recap as part of Football Sunday. But he is kind of treading water, kind of a little below sea level, a little bit, Randy. But
Had some rough things happen in the first couple of weeks.
Nah, he had the Eagles against the Rams too.
That one wasn't rough for him.
But he had the Rams again on this side. Rams were just as fortunate. It was not the dramatics at the end, but I mean the guy drops the ball going in the end zone. It's going to fall 3, but you hit an 87-yard touchdown against 10 men on the field.
Plus the Colts had a 70-yard touchdown call back.
No, the Colts. I was way more impressed in a loss than any of their wins.
I hope you get to be impressed with the Colts again this week.
Okay, so I got some college football notes for you. Randy will be with us tomorrow at noon. He'll be with us tomorrow at noon. Now, he's doing some shows in Las Vegas today, so that conflict with his appearance. Georgia, Charlie, is now 0-4 against the spread with their loss outright to Alabama. Alabama was 13 of 19 on third down, and including the last play, two things to me that I picked up while watching the film. Quarterback play, but also Kalen DeBoer, what we saw at Washington, play design. I mean, a little misdirection, sort of play action on the read option, kind of half roll. He's got one deep guy in J.M. Miller, or he can run. On a touchdown earlier, he ran.
Yeah.
This time he hit Miller, and Miller goes down in bounds. I mean, not a given these days. But the thing about Alabama, they gave up 227 yards rushing. They're 14th in the league, 14th in the SEC in rush defense. I mean, you're going to lose some games. You're going to win. Alabama's one of those teams. They want Bama back, but it's just kind of two things there. Georgia is, and what kept me from firing in on Georgia under was the schedule was not that tough. Everybody's on. Those tough road games are all at home this year. Bama, Texas, Ole Miss. They lost one of them. I get it, but they're not what they've been.
I was surprised that they were able to run the football as well as they did and lose the game. If you'd have told me beforehand they would average 7 yards a carry. And by the way, very little of that was with the quarterback. In the first couple of games, Gunnar Stockton tucked it and ran a lot for the two games.
That's what he does, Charlie.
But not in this game.
Okay.
Very little of that from him. This was the traditional run game that really got him going. And I thought that if they could run the football like that, that Georgia would win. I mean, no way to do this stat in a hurry, but games where Georgia's rushed for 200 yards at home and lost. Over 7 yards a carry and lost.
Alabama is down a couple of linemen, and now their outside linebacker is out with a broken foot. So there you go.
Diego's coming, baby.
That line is coming down. Some of the sharp action is like Vanderbilt. When has Vanderbilt been sort of a get a fired up game for Alabama? Never.
No.
So the last time these teams were undefeated,
84.
The 30s.
Oh.
Okay. Come on, Charlie.
Well, 84 was the last time they beat them, so that's why
I'm a little older than you.
Okay.
All right. San Diego State. I know it's long. They've given up 3 points the last two games. They shut out Cal. What? The quarterback, huh? What?
Sagapula Telly.
Who went to BC and Chestnut Hill and got a win outright as a 6-point dog. They shut them out. And then they win 6-3. They've given up 3 points in the last two games. They're number 8 in the country in yards per play defense. Kind of just keep that in mind with the Aztecs. I know we didn't add a ton to comment there. South Carolina 35-10 over Kentucky. They had a lead at half, took advantage of 4. Kentucky's not a team that could turn the ball over 4 times. But it was sort of, what do you make of Sellers sitting on the lead, just kind of picking your spots, but only 14 pass attempts. He had just as many rushing attempts, 14 rushing attempts, 14 passing attempts for Lenore Sellers.
They were out early in that game, right? They were up 2 scores at the end of the first quarter, I believe.
It was. I'll look it up, but it was 28-10 at half.
I think they were out early in that game. It was 28.
No, they were down. They were down.
They were down in the first quarter. That's right.
10-7 at the end of one.
Then I don't have a good explanation. I would have told you that they were nursing the lead a little bit. I liked what I saw from Sellers against Missouri. I didn't see as much of this game, but I would probably tell you that they weren't terribly threatened by anything that Kentucky did.
Don't lose a game.
Right. ESPN did a deal today where they ranked from 1 to 68. This is all subjective. Starting quarterbacks in the power conferences. Kentucky's combo was last. out of 68 teams in the power
they ranked
conference.
68.
They ranked all the 68.
Where'd they have Drew Aller?
In the teens.
Teams? Okay, because I watched that game again last night, and I wanted to watch it, instead of watching,
They were actually a little bit sympathetic to him from that, too.
And mark this date down, because I am, too. I didn't think he was terrible in this game. I thought he was just average, which I think he's kind of, I have a problem with him just being like a top 10 pick, or it could be the first pick in the draft. I just don't see that. And he reminded you, but it was not all him. They couldn't run the ball a whole lot. They didn't have a whole lot of separation. And even in like Nevada and who was the second one, the Rena win, Florida International. They didn't have a whole lot of separation, Charlie.
Right.
They really didn't. It's not all on him. But one thing that's interesting about this in that game.
I'm sorry. I hit it wrong. I was thinking about Carson Beck was in the teens. They hit him at 55.
Oh, God.
55. Right behind Cade Klubnik.
I will say this. 55 up out of 68?
Out of 68. That might.
I'll split the difference there. I'll put him mid.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that bad, and it wasn't all on him. But 162 of the 276 yards were in the fourth quarter or overtime. I mean, they did nothing for three quarters. As far as the other side, Dante Moore, there's a lot of these kids this age now you're going to see that try and do these different arm slots. They're trying to mimic success. Mahomes. Yeah. And so, what are you doing to some of them? He's got a little bit of that, but what he does, I think, as best as I've seen at any corner, he throws the ball on the move really good. He was flushed one time on third down. He's going out of bounds and getting ready to hit him, and he slings it all arm. He can't step into the ball on the line. So he has a way of throwing the ball with velocity and accuracy on the move that really – because when you look at him, he's not terribly big. He's got a good arm, not tremendous, but, man, he's got some of that in him, man.
He's very, very –
and he can run.
Very poised, I thought, too. By the way, on that quarterback ranking, Garrett Nussmeier, you want to guess out of 68?
Right now, 30.
37. One slot in front.
I'm curious. I want to get to that a little bit later.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Stanford held on won late with the field goal, 30-29 over San Jose State. You know the coach is San Jose State, huh?
San Jose State. That's the old Navy coach.
Ken Niumatalolo.
Coach N.
Yes. Don't ask me to spell it. Still no balance for Coach K. 58-14. Flip, Charlie.
Oh,
he threw it 58 times, 14 rushes for 400.
Guy to run it for 15 years at Navy. He wants to throw the ball now.
407. But a coach that flips, according to his personnel?
Not as many of them as there should be.
Iowa State, what did they say? You can't beat yourself. Don't lose the game before you can win the game. So Iowa State, nondescript, 39-14. Box score is kind of even. It was a blowout. It was a misleading score. All right? One penalty for 5 yards for Iowa State.
That's
buttoned up, huh?
Yeah, that's great. Iowa State, okay, a couple things with them. They are going in as an underdog to an unranked team. They're a ranked team going as an underdog to an unranked team.
Yes.
They lost both starting corners for the season. One of them in practice last week, one of them in the game last week. Big blow for the Cyclones.
And also you got Cincinnati. Cincinnati is that was a nice win for them. Sorsby. Remember the opening night or opening weekend? What game was that? They played on prime time in Arrowhead. Was that the first
Nebraska?
full weekend? Maybe
Against
Thursday.
Nebraska?
I think it was the first full weekend on Thursday.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was against Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska, Arrowhead. Nebraska, their fans travel 3 hours. Cincinnati traveled 6 for a Cincinnati quote-unquote home game. I think there were 5 people in the stands, not counting the Kelseys.
They cashed a check, though.
They did. But Sorsby, remember how that game ended?
No.
They're driving down 3. And he throws the deep, kind of forces one. He had to try me. He throws it into coverage, and it's an interception. That's his only turnover of the year. He's 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. He can run 4 touchdowns. He's hot right now.
They win a shootout last week with Kansas with Jalen Daniels.
ping pong game, 11 lead changes?
Yeah.
11?
They ran up some points.
That's a lot. Ohio State 24-6 over Washington. Washington led 3-0 and then faked a field goal, and it was all Ohio State. But it's DeMont Williams, the quarterback that has a lot of people buzzing, even our buddy Chris Massero. But how about the defense there? They spied him, and they made him. They frustrated him. They were not going to let him get anything with his legs. So he threw it. He's 18-22, and they didn't score a touchdown. Well, why aren't you calling more passing plays? They did, but they sacked him. They held him to short gains. He rushed it 13 times for negative 28 yards. I understand some of those are sacks, but just shut him down and just a disciplined, well-executed game plan by Ohio State's defense.
And on the offensive side, I was impressed that Julian Sain went over there and kept his composure, because after the Texas game where they kept everything reined in, he threw 3 interceptions in the 2 rental wins. It kind of got lost in the big wins. He went over to Washington, didn't turn the ball over.
And Auburn, 0 of 13. I know you know this at third down. 0 of 2 on fourth down. 0 of 15. Charlie? Jackson Arnold.
Oh, gosh, God bless.
Don't put me in a position to defend him.
No, I can't. And if
it's not all him, but damn it, I mean, geez.
And if A&M doesn't have 13 penalties for over 100 yards and a turnover, they honestly should have gotten away in that game. It had some similarities to the LSU Ole Miss game. Ole Miss's 14 penalties. It went a long way towards helping LSU stay in that game longer than they might have. Same thing over at A&M. They had a huge yardstick discrepancy, but they had a bunch of penalties, and Auburn stayed in the game.
Workbox Services began as a storage container company back in 1997, so we have evolved over the 25 years of being in business, locally owned and operated, dedicated to providing you with a one-stop shop for all your shipping container needs. So, and even bigger and better than ever. So, Workbox, of course, Martin Padial kind of getting this whole thing started. So, the great thing in expanded with a second location, allowing them to expand their coverage as well. So all the way down the Gulf Coast to the all the way up I-10 through New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, all the way to Lake Charles. So great thing about it also is that we expanded and keep it in a family as well. Martine Sr., Martine Jr., Hannah, Brandy, Chris, our great staff over at Workbox Services. Give them a call at 343-4886 or workboxservices.com.
Live at Finbaum. Live at lunch. Yeah, so it's an
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Finbaum. Sushi, burrito, poke, ramen on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
a few minutes away from Tigers and Guardians game 2. All right, yesterday gave us 4 unders. That went 3-1. So thoughts today, we missed out with the Guardians.
What's the line, Charlie?
Tigers plus 115. Guardians minus 135.
135.
Yep.
Tanner Bybee and
Casey Mize.
And Mize, okay. Mize, Bybee's has been better down the stretch. Again, we talked about their, being 29th, second to last in runs scored, second to last in batting average. Negative run differential for the entire. That's what makes it more remarkable that they gained 13 games, down the stretch against the Detroit Tigers. But hey, Casey Mize ain't Tarek Skubal. That's for damn sure. And Mize kind of almost exhaled after he got that American League Cy Young All-Star game appearance. So clear advantage at home. Bybee here, he's been money. He did win both of his games against Detroit as he faced them. This is the third time in 13 games. I think Cleveland and under is a play today.
All right, we'll take a break. Scott Rabelais with us when we come back live at Finbaum, live at lunch.
That's there.
Yeah. Oh,
man.
Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
And we return here at Finbom. Sushi, burrito, poke, ramen right next to Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee. Come by and see us here for lunch. Beautiful day in the capital city. Rab, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fighting a little bit of this cold virus that's going around. Just can't stop coughing and blowing my nose, but otherwise okay.
Okay, well that's why we you and Max fighting this a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys.
I'm not as good as Jimmy. I'm not as good as Jimmy since the Cubs won yesterday.
Yeah.
Sweep today, Jimmy.
Bittersweet though. The Padres lose. Look, it's always a good day when the Cubs play during the day during the week. Okay.
Boy,
all right, Ferris. Right. Yes.
Back-to-back days.
Sacrilege to go to a game in Wrigley Field at night. Sacrilege. Don't ever do it.
Couple of taters yesterday got the Cubs home. Rab, you were on the teleconference a couple hours ago. What did you make of Brian Kelly's explanation and future plans here, or immediate plans for Garrett Nussmeier?
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit contradictory. You said, this is the most interesting thing. He says he's got a lot of mental work to do this week, film study, game, checking out what they did Saturday, what they did well, what they didn't. I thought it was interesting. He said that he's doing that instead of throwing the ball 100 times. So clearly he needs rest. He needs to rest. I heard what you said, Charlie, and could very well be that he's got this issue that flares up at times because. And other times it doesn't bother them because it certainly seemed to bother him on those really deep throws he tried to make Saturday. So he said it's a slow healing ab injury, and we'll see where you go from there. I don't want to say anyone's lying. I don't want to see it. Obviously Nussmeier wouldn't talk about it, and Brian wouldn't answer any two questions that were put to him after the game Saturday about Nussmeier. Nussmeier wouldn't talk about it. So. Those are non-denial denials, and now Kelly has tried to put a positive spin on this the whole time. I don't think we're going to really know anything about Nussmeier until we see how he performs against South Carolina. So I think it's still a bit of a mystery as far as I'm concerned. What's going on?
I'm willing to buy some of this stuff and I'm not saying anybody's lying either. When you ask Brian Kelly how Garrett Nussmeier is right after the game, I don't expect him to know chapter and verse, especially with something like this.
Correct.
Okay? This isn't like, man, he went down with a knee injury, went to the locker room, and the trainer comes back and tells him the ACL's torn. This is not that. This is something that is inflammatory, and sometimes you watch him make throws at different points in his game, and it looks different. So I don't expect him to know exactly how Garrett Nussmeier feels right after the game. And if Nussmeier himself doesn't want to talk about it, it's probably because he's been instructed to say, look, man, you can't win here. Just move along from the questions. And when you get a couple days later and you watch him throw and you're like, okay, well, he's fine. And then all of a sudden he's not. I'm not without sympathy for an injury that is sort of recurring. But where you lose me is when you say, okay, the bye week is what we need to get him some rest so that this thing has the best chance to heal. But you say, well, he needs to play against Southeastern. And I'm sorry, he did not need to play against Southeastern. And I don't know how much more he would have been healed in Oxford had he not played against Southeastern. Nobody will ever know. But I can't imagine it would have been anywhere. And that's the contradictory. It's like, well, no, he needs the rest. He needs the bye week. He said that. And he says, well, no, he needs to play. It would be wrong not to play against Southeastern. So that's where the contradiction comes in my head. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It's been kind of like, what are you saying? What's best? What's not? And let me be the first to admit, I wrote before the Southeastern game that he needed to play because they needed to get more continuity and timing and chemistry with the offense, with the receivers and that sort of thing. And in hindsight, that probably wasn't the best thing. We don't know where they were with him and his injury condition, whatever you want to call it, going into the Southeastern game. But it certainly looks now that they could have. And I didn't know how well Van Buren would play either. He looked good, as y'all said, against the Lions. So. That would have been the best thing. Don't know if it would have made a huge difference, because if this thing is flaring up on him occasionally, it hurts on some throws, it doesn't on others. But it looks to me, too, guys, that whatever is ailing him has impacted his confidence, his willingness to step up, step into a throw and potentially take a hit. He's just kind of shot putting the ball, kind of lunging at it, and it doesn't look at all like what we saw last season or early in practice. I remember telling people early in practice, one of the Cokie Riley or Reed Darcy, who weren't covering the team in 2019, they said, "You want to know what Joe Burrow looked like? It's pretty close to this." He was just tremendous, and now it's nothing like that. So all you can do is hope. If you're for LSU's sake, is hope for the best. Hope that he gets healed. Hope that he regains some confidence, and going forward, because obviously the schedule continues to be very challenging. And going to South Carolina, which is a game they should win, but it's a game they can lose if they don't play well.
The aversion to pain, that's a natural reaction your body has. If something hurts your body, you don't want to do it. He said something else today that I thought was interesting. Get your take on it. When he was asked about the running game, and he was more concerned about the passing game, and you can kind of elaborate on that a little bit, because that is sort of opposite of what the kind of the narrative is right now.
Yeah, he was talking about they had some bright spots and some errors, and they just got to work on things in general. But that the passing game was more of an issue. I think everyone else is kind of like, This is my take, Charlie. The state that Nussmeier's in or was in against Ole Miss, at least he was serviceable, right? At least he was. He wasn't like, boy, you got to take him out. He can't throw at all. He's just going to be able to hand the ball off or whatever. And but he was, reasonably good. I mean, he did make some throws, threw an interception, missed some throws, but he made some throws as well. But the running game is it's not even walking. It's not even doing anything. So I was a little intrigued to hear that as well. Like. This is the real big red flag. I mean, obviously, your preseason Heisman candidate quarterback's health is huge, but you got to help him out with the running game. And if you don't, there's not much you can do, healthy or otherwise. So, yeah, that was seemed like a little bit of denial there, Charlie. Denial.
If in that offensive line meeting room and on that practice field, those guys don't take this to heart and do a little soul searching and say, "Hey, man, we got it handed to us last week." They really did, and you didn't get out schemed. You got out muscled. You got out physicaled, and when that happens to an offensive line, somebody's got. I think about the Stephen Petermans of the world. That it was just one of the meanest son of a guns you ever see out there on the field, where it's like, man, you ain't gonna beat me, okay? And they've had a lot of guys like that over the years. Somebody needs to step up in that room and say, "This is not happening to us. We're gonna be physical. We're gonna be nasty. We're gonna get after it this week." Because we were embarrassed last week. Everybody's on Joe Sloan's behind, and I understand why. I don't think he's done a great job, but I'm not totally without sympathy for a man that is trying to call offensive plays with an offensive line that's getting their ass handed to him, and a quarterback that can't throw the ball 30 yards down the field.
I thought the extended handoffs I was actually a little creativity, knowing that you really are struggling to try and get something out of. Besides just drop
a pseudo running game, if you will.
It is, I know, but it's trying to be creative to get something
with you.
Out of the extended handoff. I don't know if you caught game day on Saturday, and I catch bits and pieces, but I did catch this part. Nick Saban, and in a little bit of an expletive, was talking about a team that they had to run the ball more, and he says, "I'm getting after their backsides, the offensive line," and it talks about. When, after the Georgia game, when Sharon Carey went down and they had two freshman backs and he challenged his offensive line and they were completely different from there on. They were a strength. I mean, that was a...
And you remember who they played?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, same team they're playing next week. What a coincidence, Rab. So I don't know how you feel about the offensive line.
Offensive lines get better, too, now. This is the one unit that usually gets better over the course of the season.
Brad, your thoughts about the line and Joe Sloan?
Yeah, I thought Karius Kern showed some real good flashes. I think he's a guy, to Jimmy's point, could get better and maybe emerge as a starter, even though he's a true freshman.
I like him. He got a little nasty to him.
A little nastiness to him. I watched the handicast faithfully, and I saw the play y'all highlighted when he pancaked the guy. He just laid on top of the guy.
He threw him on the ground and jumped on top of him. That was great. That again.
But going back to the line and the scheme, I saw Jake. None of us have played in college in the NFL like Jacob and Matt have. And Jacob Hester to say LSU has not run a power running play of all their 142 runs. Now, maybe some are called and they check out of them, but they haven't run one yet. And you got to just commit to run the ball. Now, running RPOs when the offensive lineman, I got to take up the offensive lineman a little bit. The RPO means you got to wait and see what is gonna transpire, because you can't go forward down the line of past the line of scrimmage, and because that's a penalty. So I think they have to just be more committed to running the ball, and I think what those guys are saying, what like Richard Dixon is saying, maybe go to Caleb Jackson and just be committed to it. Just stick with it. It's even if it doesn't look good at first, maybe you'll eventually break something. It's kind of funny, guys, how we've gone full circle in 10 years or so from the Les Miles days. And it's like, they can't throw the ball. Why are they throwing the passing? It's terrible. They run into the box. And I was like, they got to run the ball. It's just like,
just goes to show you we're never satisfied.
Let me just bring up this point.
No, it's hard to have it all, I guess.
A couple of things, and we'll get into it later when we have more time. But a lot of people aren't running power running plays in college football. Everybody's their running game is handing off in a shotgun to the back that's set aside of you. Okay, the fullback in the Les Miles era is pretty much done. Okay, but the other thing, Scott, I brought this to Charlie's attention. We got to be committed to the running game. Didn't we compliment their commitment to the running game in the Clemson game? We did.
Yeah.
And they ran it 27 times in that game. They ran it 20 in this one. Is 7 rushing attempts the complete difference in the world?
Scott, I'll let you go first.
Yeah. Yeah, when the true running backs only get the ball twice in the first half, I guess the team that's given up 190 a game on the ground. Yeah, I think it's showing a lack of commitment. I don't know.
But your best back wasn't available. He was available in the Clemson game. He wasn't in the Ole Miss game. There's nobody arguing that.
No, he's the best guy they got.
Would he have gotten 8 carries in the first half? So I don't know. It seems to me if you only get 2 to the true running backs, then he's not going to get many either. But
you only had 56 snaps.
Well, yeah, that hurt.
I mean, how many did you have in a Clemson game? So
more than that.
Yeah,
that does hurt. But So are you arguing that they are committed to the running game?
No. They have to. In what Ole Miss presented defensively, you have to. And nobody's bringing a fullback anymore. I'm sorry, Jacob. Nobody's bringing a fullback anymore. I mean, that's not happening. But
no, that's right.
A lot of people around college football aren't running power running games. They're running exactly what LSU is running. Yes, when you have a weak rush defensive team and they're daring you, you have to do it. You absolutely have to do it. Clemson wasn't daring them like Ole Miss was. I didn't see those light bugs.
No, you're right. The power eye and stuff like that is pretty much dead, and LSU is not going to switch that. But you got to be more diverse. If according to Jacob, you've run 0 power running plays this year. That's a problem. That's a lack of a lack of faith at the very least in your guys to get the job done. And maybe they don't. Maybe they just look. We just can't do it. But I mean, you got to.
At the end of the game, when they're running right up the A gap with Harlan Berry, and he gets about 6-8 yards, and then he scores. That's not power running game in today. That's power running game to me. And I saw some other plays in the middle of the field where they actually got a little push. They weren't often, but I mean, those are power running games. Those are power running plays in this era.
At the very end, yeah. And you're right. You're not going to have something with a fullback. Let me ask one more question, both you guys, before we wrap the seg up. Any chance Nussmeier's checking out of a lot of these things? Scott, you first. Any chance that he's checking out of runs? I mean, I have no idea. I'm just asking the question.
I would be shocked in these alignments defensively. What Ole Miss is showing that they're daring you.
Yeah,
because this was.
If anything, you should be checking into the runs.
This is. Don't you think this is a typical Lane Kiffin team where they're offensive heavy and defensive light?
Yes.
Okay, so he's got to do some real extreme things. I don't think Nussmeier on a weekly basis is seeing what Ole Miss, the defensive alignments they presented.
No.
I mean, you guys look at the all-22.
No, if anything, he should have been checking into some runs. But, Scott, you got any thoughts about Nussmeier's autonomy at the line here?
I think, considering his experience and he thinks he's got a strong arm, which he does, and the run game is not very effective. Yeah, I think he probably is checking out, a bit of these things, run plays that are called. Yeah, that's not on Sloan, and those aren't necessarily bad, things, but it just seems to be that they need to, as you said, they show like they're showing only 3 or 4 linemen coming at you, and they're dropping all these other guys into coverage that you should be staying with it or checking more into it. So I think he probably is, and I'm a little fed up seeing how horizontal LSU's offense is. I think they go more down the field, run right at people, and attack more downfield than they have been. Instead of all this sliding side to side stuff. It's good. It's good in moderation, but it's not good. I would say it's the majority of the time in what they're doing, but it's a lot of what they're doing.
You get the weekend off, or you got to go cover something else?
No, the weekend off. We'll mention real quick. I appreciate y'all mentioning Wilson's wife Elise who passed away Saturday.
Yes.
Her funeral is Friday in Houma, so a lot of I think there'll be a huge turnout there for her funeral on Friday. So please keep Wilson and his family and Elise's family in your thoughts.
Yes, please pass our sympathies and condolences along, Scott. We appreciate it. Thank you much. We'll talk to you next week before South Carolina.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, don't forget our friends at the law offices of O.C. Brown. Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, dedicated, to protecting your rights, fighting for the justice you deserve. Simply, we're not trained attorneys. We don't know when we're entitled to something more. We don't know if our rights are being infringed upon. And you know what? Sometimes we think you have a case, and you don't. So that's why you take advantage of that initial consultation. You can either call them up at 343-1111 or go to their website at ocbrown.com. Now, when you pull up the website, you'll see on the main page, big yellow box, it says schedule a free consultation. You go there and kind of let you know of everything. You put your name, email, your phone, and tell us about your case, and then you send it our way, and then we'll evaluate it. Set up an appointment for you and go from there. So a great team over at the law offices of O.C. Brown. Of course, Dana, Susan Manuel, Chris Perrette, David Connican, and our administrative team, Miss Patty, over there as well. It helps me out so many times. Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at Finbaum, live at
Play 8. They were going to. That's why the problem.
From east, north to south, but we're heading west.
It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Fernando, I'll spare the ABBA lyrics today, Wes, but how about it, huh? I mean, in a dogfight, 3rd and 10 at midfield, he finds Surratt for a 50-yard touchdown pass, and lights out, baby. Indiana in a really tough spot against a pain in the backside team to play. They pull it out in Iowa City.
Well, I think the team, Jimmy, and also Fernando showed their toughness. Fernando took some licks in that game, including on pass to Surratt, because Phil Parker and Iowa, they were bringing that blitz, and Fernando took a shot, threw it on a rope to Surratt, and off they went. And, impressive win for Indiana. And I know Iowa has a ceiling. What are they, probably going to be like a 7-win team? They're always consistently at least solid, but to beat a team on the road and to match their toughness, and that's something that Indiana hadn't proven in the short time that Stignetti has been at IU. They just have not won one of those grinder games. They've either lost to a superior opponent or they've beaten an inferior opponent. But to get an opponent like that on the road and be able to win with toughness and grit, I think it's a good step for this program. And now they get a week off to kind of, rest up, heal up, because they're going to need to because they've got the Ducks next week.
I take it a step further. Emotion is a big part of our college football or college basketball handicapping, both of it. And you think there's a little emotion when you beat a top 10 team by 53 on primetime network TV? I mean, that's a regularity over the years for Indiana football, right, Wes? Huh?
Yeah,
no.
yeah, absolutely. Being that it's the first time ever, if you want to call that regular.
You can't have all that emotion one week and not have that much less the following week. It's a brutally tough against a tough team. You know you better buckle it up tight because they're going to hit you. You know that. Oh man, that's a different layer of respect. I think that this team in the trenches has just can withstand. I do not expect them. I thought they got pushed around by Notre Dame in the playoff game. I think they're more equipped for not to happen this year in the playoff should they advance. It looks like they're on their way. And the second thing is, it seems like they have more explosive playmakers. You know, everybody wants to talk about the jumping quarterback, and there's probably a little jump there as well. But your thoughts on my assessment of the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I'll start with the first point you made about being in the trenches. That's what concerned me a little bit. And that's still where you're building a program here. This is the second year Cignetti's operation is in effect. So you know it. You followed this a long time. It takes a couple classes. It takes a few classes to really build up depth on your roster. Now, whether you're doing it in the portal or you're doing it out of the high schools and the prep school ranks. And it especially is hard to develop depth, I think, on the offensive and defensive line. And you can get the skill position guys. Like, even bad teams have good skill position guys. But it's getting those good offensive and defensive linemen, and especially not only your starters, but your second and your third unit. And they've just had more depth and were able to fight Iowa and come out with a win. And then you talk about the playmakers with Surratt. Of course, he has experience, came with Sig from James Madison. But Omar Cooper, who's an Indianapolis kid, has been terrific this year. They were able to replace the running backs. Beebe went down, but Roman Hemby out of Maryland has proven he can be productive in the Big Ten Conference and has been so far. And they're just getting better guys. You know, they're not getting the 5 and all the high 4-star guys just yet, but they're getting guys that are grown-ups, and they're getting guys that have been productive. And one thing Curt Cignetti always says is production over potential, and I will take that every single time.
Wes, I need to give me a little bit more background on Fernando Mendoza, and I'm asking because Saints fans may get to know him pretty well next spring. We've seen a couple of guys come here with limited draft prospects when they got here and ended up at the top of the draft with the Heisman Trophy. And it seems like Mendoza, at least at this point, is on maybe an early similar track. Now, he's got to do it against Oregon and Penn State. But what was the projections on him coming in? What did you expect from him compared to this rocket ship he's on through the first 4 weeks?
Well, I don't think I had these high of expectations, Charlie, even though I had him better than Curtis Rourke. And Curtis got drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, so you don't get drafted if you don't have something. And, he played injured last year, but I thought Mendoza, from an athletic standpoint, was better than Rourke. He could use his legs a little bit more. He's a little bit of a bigger kid, and he's a tough kid. Because I saw him play at Cal and thought he had a lot of potential, but, man, he spent a lot of time on his backside because he was getting hit all the time behind that Cal offensive line. When you get sacked 50-plus times, and now he's behind a relatively veteran and experienced Indiana offensive line. He took some licks on Saturday because Iowa was bringing blitzes from everywhere, but I think he feels a little bit more comfortable when he's not getting hit all the time like he was against Cal. So, look, I'm here for it. Fernando Mendoza being, we thought, a potential late first-round pick, and now we're seeing him maybe where he's going to be in the top 5 or 10. So, he's got the goods, man, and they got him in the NIL, and the NIL has improved in Indiana. And he's delivered and then some so far through 4 games.
Wes, I thought Rourke was pretty tough too. I think Mendoza is more of a pro. He's got the measurables that the pro scouts are looking for. He's taller. He's got bigger arm strength, but that damn Rourke, man, he was playing hurt too. I mean, look, you should be upgrading. I mean, you're winning now. It's easier for Signetti to try and sell his program to prospects now than it was a year ago. So, but speaking of those two games, I mean, I'm curious. You had Penn State in the money line, and they almost fought back. But those two teams, I know one thing, they're going to be a challenge defensively for Indiana when they play. I thought it was defensive-oriented game. Your thoughts on the Penn State-Oregon game Saturday night?
Yeah, and I was on Penn State, and they're still, I think, probably going to make the playoff. But yet another disappointment in the big game from James Franklin, and that's going to stick with him until he wins one, until he beats an Ohio State in the regular season or wins a Big Ten championship. Just has not been able to get it done. And I thought, the play calling in the first half might have been a little conservative. In the second half, that last drive that Andy Kotelnicki, by the way, called the tie of the game was brilliant. And Drew Allard, though, I just don't know if he's a fit for what Kotelnicki wants to do. I think Kotelnicki likes a little bit more of a mobile quarterback, and they had one, and he's now playing very well at Missouri, Bo Pribula. So, maybe he was the more ideal fit for that system than Drew Allard was. And Drew Allard, to me, has not improved enough. And I thought he would have this year, but he's kind of around the same guy. Sometimes there's potential, but just, makes some errors, and that interception in overtime obviously sealed their fate. But Oregon side, I was very impressed with them, especially on the defensive line, because that's where I thought they were going to maybe be a little bit deficient against Penn State, was going to be able to run the ball and put them away if they got a lead. Penn State couldn't really run the ball that great against Oregon. So Dan Lanning's got SEC dudes all over that roster there in Oregon.
All right, Wes, your top 2 or 3 picks in college football this week on the card.
Yeah, let's talk about one team, because we talked about it earlier with the Indiana win a couple weeks ago. Illinois at Purdue. How much gas does Illinois really have left in the tank after coming off getting absolutely obliterated, and then the next week everybody counting you out, and then you being the better team against USC, and they almost found a way to lose but got that field goal late. Now they're laying 9.5, 10 at Purdue, and Purdue still down talent-wise, first year under Barry Odom, but they compete. Purdue plays hard. I've been very impressed with how hard they've played, and I think they're going to give Illinois a very tough one on Saturday. So Purdue taking 9.5 or 10. That's what's available out there. Also like Cincinnati a little bit against Iowa State as a very small favorite. You can lay money line. The Big 12 is going to be what the Big 12 was last year, where there's a new team to beat every single week. Okay, it's this team, and then they lose, and then it's another team. That's what the Big 12 is going to be again, and then let's see who's standing at the end. And I think Cincinnati, nice win at Kansas, was able to beat them in a shootout in Lawrence. I think they get Iowa State here as a very small favorite. So I like that. And then I'll give an SEC one, too, and it's on the move. Mississippi State 4-0 against the spread. They've been a lot better than I think we thought they were going to be. I think Texas A&M might be ready to lay somebody out. I know they couldn't get away from Auburn, even though they dominated the game, and that seems like a big number. I'm going to lay it, though, with the Aggies over the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Cincinnati, the favorite. Ranked team, unranked team favorite over a ranked team 90% of the time. It's because they're at home. And, yeah, Cincinnati, that was a good – Sorsby, since that opening game and Arrowhead against Nebraska, that last drive turnover, he has not turned it over since, like 9 passes to 0. 4 more TDs with his legs. So he's playing good, true dual threat for Cincinnati, the former Indiana Hoosier. Charlie, but you have something before we get to Wes's NFL?
I was going to say we got 2 of those unranked teams favored over a ranked
Who's the other one?
Louisville, 6.5 point choice against
Virginia.
Virginia, yeah,
okay,
snuck into the rankings.
There you go. And there are field rush fades, and then there's our field rush is on pause for 50 minutes. The student section tripled over that time span on Friday night in Charlottesville. Wes, nice job with the Patriots last week. Give us your best 1 or 2 NFL picks for this week.
Yeah, let's start with the Denver Broncos getting 4 at the Eagles. Boy, this seems like a small line, right? 4-0 against 2-2, but the Eagles, and they did end up covering, and they were blowing out Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay closed the gap a little bit in the second half. The Eagles, even though they're 4-0, man, they still got problems on offense. They had 200 yards against Tampa Bay, and against the Tampa Bay defense that had some injuries, especially in that secondary. Only ran the ball for 88 yards. I think Philly is a very gettable favorite to fade this weekend. I was impressed with Denver. I know it's a short week off the Monday night win over Cincinnati, but Denver Broncos +4 for me. I'll give a bonus one since we did mention the Saints. Saints are going to get a win this Sunday, guys. Lay them on the money line against the New York Football Giants with Jackson Dart making his first road start. The Saints at least are still competing. I think they know they're not going anywhere, but they're still competing so far. They have not mailed it in. I thought that was a nice effort at Buffalo to stay within the number. So New Orleans Saints are going to get their first win this NFL Sunday.
And this is flipped, right? They were a 1.5 underdog. Now they're a 1.5 favorite.
The Saints?
Yeah.
Yeah. It may not be available in the mainstream sports books. You might have to go overseas, but they are the odds-on favorite to win the moral victory Super Bowl, the New Orleans Saints. So, yes, Wes.
Offshore books.
Yes. Wes, when you leaving for Eugene next week? We going to catch you before next Wednesday?
Yeah. I'll still be in town. I am going to be heading up there, though. Excited to see Autzen Stadium and would be excited to see Indiana compete and perhaps go out of there with the win. Last time they did that, here's a Baton Rouge connection. The last time Indiana beat Oregon, I believe 04, Jerry DiNardo was the coach of Indiana University, the former LSU head coach, where Oregon fumbled, by the way, I think like 7 or 8 times in that game, and Indiana was able to hold on and win.
I haven't been to a game, but it's a cool atmosphere for a game. And, not before it gets too hopefully the weather holds up. Pacific Northwest could get a little rainy at times, but still, yes, really, really cool spot to go watch a game in Eugene, Oregon. Wes, we will talk to you next week. Good luck to you, buddy. Great stuff as always. Follow Wes on Twitter at WesReynolds1. Thank you, Wes.
You bet, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Yes, indeed. So we'll take a time out. We're over here at Finbom Sushi Burrito Poke Ramen. We're watching the Major League Baseball postseason Game 2, Cleveland and Detroit. Detroit, Bertrand Tarek Skubal, 14 strikeouts. Charlie, there was for this round of the playoffs, a prop for any pitcher to have 14 or more strikeouts at plus 550. It lasted one game.
Yeah.
Tarek Skubal with 14. Tanner Bybee allowed one guy on an error in the outfield, lost in his son. It did hit his glove, so officially was an error. But so 2 on, nobody out in the top of the first for the Tigers. But strikeout. Struck out the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, including the first one on a 3-2 nasty breaking ball. Trusted his breaking ball for a backwards K on that one. And then a solo shot for the Guardians. I want to say the Indians. Cleveland on top 2, 1-0, 1 out, nobody on for Detroit.
Live at Finbom, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN.
Gavin, so thirds.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Finbom. Sushi, burrito, poke, ramen on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. Let Philip Fontenot and his staff help you out when you're talking about retirement. You want somebody you can trust, and I promise you, we trust him at our house because he's been handling our financial affairs for quite some time. You want to have that lifetime relationship built in so that no matter what happens, no matter what life may throw at you, you're prepared for retirement. No matter your age, your financial situation, they'll tailor a plan that's perfect for you. They'll work with your business partners and tax professionals to make sure all your retirement goals are achieved. You can take a look at some of their services, coastalcapitaladv.com. Coastalcapitaladv.com. We call 337-981-1376. And ask for Phil. Tell him you heard about it here in Baton Rouge on Live at Lunch. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors. Remember, FINRA, SIPC. All right, this is usually one of these things we do. Maybe in the summertime we'll gaze at a list here and there, but ESPN did take the time to rank all 68 Power 4 quarterbacks today. So it's interesting to see what somebody else thinks, what the national perspective is on this. So we let the cat out of the bag on Nussmeier, who is 37 in this group, and ironically, I guess, one spot in front of Bryce Underwood from Michigan, who came in at number 38. But Jimmy, what some of the other guys if
can
you
I guess
ranking,
a few the top 10?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Mendoza's in the top 10, probably top 5.
Mendoza is number 4.
Okay.
Fernando Mendoza, 18 total touchdowns.
Dante Moore from Oregon.
Dante Moore is number 5.
Okay.
14 total touchdowns.
Top 5.
Yep.
I don't know if this guy is. Damn it, he deserved. Jalen Daniels from Kansas.
Daniels is not in the top 5, but he is number 10. Number 10.
Okay.
17 total touchdowns, 250 rushing yards.
Yeah. How many TDs is he accounted for?
17. Jayhawks they've lost 2 games. They've been over 30 points both times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't play defense.
We've liked him a long
Mateer,
time. We've liked him a long
Mateer
time.
is
Mateer, they docked him a little bit for the injury, but he is still in the top 20. He is number 12.
Okay. Can't control. All right. I guess in the same thing, Chambliss kind of picked up where he left off. Where is he?
Number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to argue.
Kind of a slow start, but wait. Pavia's got to be top 5.
Number 2, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt.
Got to be. Again, I'll maintain nobody's more important to their team. There's not a bigger drop off if he's hurt than Diego Pavia.
And I can't argue that. Not only for this team, but program-wise. I mean,
production alone, it's kind of system-oriented. He's got some really explosive guys, but he leads the country in passing. So are you Robertson from Baylor?
He was a lot further down than I thought he would be.
I'm about 20. I'd put him like in a 20 range.
21.
Okay. I'm good with that. I know you can get caught up with the stats, but I'm okay with that. Late start, but really coming on now. Had another good game, 2 in a row now. But Mensah may be just inside 10 or outside 10.
22. One spot behind Robertson.
He'll come on. Where is Ty Simpson? Is he in the top 10?
Just outside of the top 10.
The Florida State game kills him. That's been the pass. It was a tough spot, but just outside the top 10, 12.
I'm sorry, just inside the top 10, number 8.
Come on, Charlie.
Come on, man.
Aguilar for Tennessee.
He is 17.
Okay. Throw still a little bit too gunslinger. You know, he is moving the ball. He can run. He's not consumed with his legs, but when it does break down, he's got the right approach. But he will throw into coverage sometimes. He had 2 more picks so that's keeping him outside the 10, which I'm okay. But they can run their offense. Here's the weird one. Guy loves to run with his legs. He's hard. He's winning college football games. Haynes King.
Haynes King was a lot further down than I thought, and they did need the 2-point. They need to turn them back to win that one.
Yeah, Wake Forest got the ball second in overtime. Yeah. They scored in the first play. The running back who scored a 25-yard touchdown got injured, but they went for it and didn't make it. You know, we always want the guys to go for it and stuff like that.
29. They dinged him for some things. This is analytics, okay? 71st in yards per drop back. Max isn't here today, but he loves that. He loves that.
He's not a great passer, but damn it, he's gonna.
Right under 400 rushing yards in 4 games. So
you're going to take 28 quarterbacks ahead of Haynes King this year?
No, I said I thought they had him low.
There's no way. But it'd be not. The reason I brought him up later is because I didn't know because his passing numbers aren't going to be there. You know.
Yeah, the big yardage totals is not there. But
where's Sayin from the freshman from Ohio State?
Julian Sayin comes in at number
15.
That was pretty close. I just had 11.
Okay,
11.
Yeah. Where's Pribula?
Inside the top 20, I believe, at 19. Yeah.
Caliber competition is kind of causing an understanding. Rocco Beck from Iowa State,
just inside at number. Where I had him just a second
15-ish?
ago. Yeah, it was somewhere in the late teens or early 20s. I'm trying to scroll through here, and I lost him for a second. 24.
Oh.
Just inside the top 25.
That's a little low for him. All right, any other notables before we go?
Well, you hadn't gotten number 1 yet, and he leads the country in your favorite stat.
Yards per attempt. Notre Dame.
No. Although C.J. Carr, if maybe he took over the lead, but this guy had the lead last week. C.J. Carr's number 7 from Notre Dame. This guy going into last week, I thought he was still the leader in yards per attempt.
Well, he might be. I know C.J. Carr's way up there.
Yeah,
way up there last 2 weeks.
Jaden Maeva at USC.
Yeah, he was last week. On test, I don't know. I think C.J. Carr's played some better competition right now. He's good, man.
There's only 2 quarterbacks top 20 in completion rate and yards per completion.
Don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet in Plaquemine and Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is in Plaquemine. Go Chevrolet is down in LaPlace. I don't just talk about the vehicles from Go Chevrolet. When I was in the market for a new vehicle, I called up my buddy Lee Carney, the Bel Air basketball star. He and his partner Nick Richard, you can go over and ask for them, man. They'll talk to you. Tell them that you heard it from me. They'll give you that VIP pricing. If you mention my name, Jimmy Ott, certified body shop and valet service, they'll come and pick. Your car needs to be worked on. They'll come and pick it up and drop you off a loaner and then return it to you when you're done. Don't have to leave your work or the home if you need some work done on your vehicle. So, and the other cool thing that is, so you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, a certified pre-owned vehicle. It comes with a warranty, no problem. If we don't have it on the lot, using our resources nationally, we will locate it and bring in exactly what you're looking for as a pre-owned vehicle. New vehicle, hey, do like I did and go through Go Chevy, and Lee will set you up. You go to the Chevrolet website, and you go in exactly, you design your new vehicle. In a couple of months, it comes in exactly what you're looking for. Go Chevrolet in LaPlace. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. Nick Richard and Lee Carney.
Live at FinBomb, live at lunch. We're one all
Baton Rouge.
All right, wrapping up here at FinBomb. Cleveland with a 1-0 lead on Detroit. That's top of the third. Same order as yesterday, Jimmy, so we got 3 more later today. Anything you liking?
Padres bats struggled yesterday. Wind's not howling in, but it's coming in directly from center, right center, about 10 miles per hour today in Wrigley Field. Cubs will throw an opener today, so it'll be bullpen by committee. They have some guys, so that's okay. Padres, Dylan Cease. Man, he is feast or famine. I do not want any part of Dylan Cease in a road playoff game. San Diego's lineup should be better than it is. It's like spotty, so and that's not a good approach in postgame. I think the Cubs close it out today. Red Sox and Yankees and Dodgers. Yankees are they don't have to face Crozier. They should be okay tonight at 5 o'clock. And the Dodgers should put away the Reds. Reds don't have Abbott throwing after Green here. Their best pitcher. They're going down with Littell.
Thanks to the folks here at FinBomb. Tomorrow we are at Sammy's on Highland Road. Hope you can join us then. For Jimmy and Jordan, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.